What up, YouTube? It's the Ways and I'm Tia, and today we're back with another video. Actually, this is gonna be the last video of 2023 from myself, and I wanted to go through the palettes that I used this year and rank them. I have 17 palettes that I used that were not part of the Way Back Wednesday, and I want to give you my thoughts on them and rank them for you from least favorite to my most used, exciting favorite palette that I used this year. So if that's something that you want to see, then we got to get to it. But first, during the intro, go ahead and subscribe if you're not part of the Fam Gang. If you are, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking around with me. It's been a pleasure to be able to make these videos for you guys, to hear your feedback, to tell me what your favorites are, to read your comments, to really get to know you guys in this little fam that we got going on. So I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I love you all for supporting the channel and coming back time and time again to watch these videos. So thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be updated every time I load a new video, because 2024 is about to be litty, okay? And let's get it with this palette ranking. Lego. So I'm really excited to go through these palettes with you guys. I use 17 palettes, not including my Way Back Wednesdays. My Way Back Wednesdays I didn't include in here because I always give them a score at the end of the video from 1 to 10. Way Back Wednesdays will be coming back next year. If you are wanting some Way Back Wednesdays, then definitely throw up your W's in the comments, okay? And I'll definitely ensure that we have those coming for next year. But I'm excited about these palettes. I really love them all, just to be honest with you. I just had to rank them. These are based off of my preferences, you know, my color stories. If you love it, I love it for you. But we might not have the same taste in like color stories and stuff like that. And maybe a palette that you love might be ranked a little lower. It is all good, you know, like regardless of what it is, I love all of these palettes. I have been going back and forth on how I wanted to position them and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm excited about where we're at. 4 of the palettes are not new from this year. They were just new to me that I used this year. So I included them in the ranking. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of palettes that I reviewed this year. I buy all of my palettes myself, and I buy them based off of the feeling I have toward those palettes, not just to review them on my channel. I buy them because I'm genuinely interested in using them, and the positive thing is I get to review them for you guys, to give you my thoughts, to see if it's something that you should pick up or not, or we can talk about how we pick them up and we love them, you know what I'm saying? But I picked these palettes up because I have a genuine interest in these palettes. So let's get started. The first one I put as 17 because I only used it once. It's not a new palette from this year. I really haven't had a chance to get my thoughts together on it. That's why it is last. And when I used it, there was just a dud. And I was just so upset because it was like the main reason I wanted to use this palette. So number 17 is the 420 palette by Melt Cosmetics. Yes, the packaging is fire. Okay. The color story is a fantastic, grungy, browns, warm tones. You have greens. This color disappointed me so much, and that's why it's sitting at number 17 right now. I definitely cannot give you a full review on this just because I've only used like literally maybe 3 colors. The 2 other ones that I did use, I can't even remember which ones I used. But I just remember this yellow wax was the main reason I wanted this palette, and it was just horrid. And maybe I need to find another way to use it or a different primer. But I'm still excited to play with this palette. It's a gorgeous color story. That's one thing Melt does very well. I do have some other Melt palettes in this rundown. But this one comes in at number 17. And I don't know if that's fair, me only using it once, but I want to rank it because I did use it. Now, I did not use this in an actual video, so you won't see a tutorial on this palette in my playlist or anything. I used it because I was like doing what was I doing? I think it was a Sephora video that I did in the recent months. Okay, number 16. Number 16, I used this palette at the beginning of the year. Actually, in January, I think I was going on a date with my husband. It is a Tom Ford quad, and it's in Desert Fox. And this is what she looks like. Very neutral, very basic. Okay, very, very basic. Probably why she's coming in at number 16. You have 2 mattes, 3 mattes, and a shimmer. Nothing to write home about. This is like a quick everyday palette if you want kind of a classy look, or if you're going to work and you just want to be able to put this on. I do love that it's like a quad. It's so sleek. It's so cool. I keep the packaging for mostly all of my palettes. This comes with like this little dust thing. Like, it's like a bougie and cute and whatnot. Nothing horrible with the formula. It's just real basic, and I'm not, you know, I like neutrals, but a little bit more life would be fantastic. So that's why that comes in at number 16. Okay, number 15. So this one had my favorite packaging of all the palettes this year, I think. Honestly, it's real basic. It's real simple, but I love the packaging. The formulas were fantastic. It really just came down to the color story for me, and it's the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. Plus, I could barely remember how to say the name. But I love the stars. I can't. Let me clean it off. I love the stars on this palette. I'm just that type of chick. I just love galaxy and stars and moons and all that stuff. And it's just dots on the palette, but it just looks like a galaxy to me, and it makes me happy. But this is the color story. If you haven't seen this palette in action, I think I did 2 or 3 looks with this palette. It's really black, gray, white, silver. Like, that's it. But there are some outstanding shades in this palette. I think what threw me off the most, if you watch my review, is it turns very blue on me. Like, it's supposed to be gray, which actually I'm very happy it does turn blue, because I don't know how excited I would have been about the gray shadows per se. Some of the special shades to me, I love this color, Night Sky. It's so pretty. I love this color in here, this really sparkly black. She did give us some different, like this one has a little bit more blue. You can see it. And this is a shimmery, sparkly black. She does have some different formulas in here, which are really, really nice. I like the color Ebb 2, which is also a blue in this palette. She had a Sposh, which was the cream to powder. She had some really pretty shimmers, like Supersonic, like it's there, and the formula is there. I mostly bought this palette as I know I like smoky eyes, and I know that I love Natasha Denona formula. I really bought this palette though for, you can see that has a little pink to it too. I really bought this palette to mix with my other Natasha Denona palettes. Like, I want to create palettes, and this is going to be a great addition to be able to do that. So, great palette for, you know, the formula, the versatility of being able to pop these out. I can take from this palette and perform other looks with different palettes. It's more of a companion palette for me. She added these couple other shades, Snowball and Skift. They're alright. I think we could have had a different variety. I would have liked maybe some taupey shades in here to go with these cool tones. The blue, like I said, it shocked me, but I love some of the looks that I'll pop up a couple of the looks if I can of any of these palettes. There was one I loved one of the looks I did, the cut crease I did with this one was really, really fun. I also don't appreciate that we don't really have any dark mattes. We had the Blizzard, Flurry, Control, all really, really light mattes. We only got Spotch, which was the cream to powder, which is still hard to sometimes build up with the cream to powders. But yeah. It was good. It just wasn't my favorite. So excited to have it in my collection for sure. Natasha Denona knows how to put a color story together that, like, if you were expecting smoky gray, black, white, like, that's what you got. The only thing also that I wasn't a fan of was I wanted an all black shade in this palette. But obviously I can pull black shades from other palettes. So number 14, I got it late, this palette. I was intrigued, but I didn't know. And this is actually the first palette that I got from this brand. And it is by Glamlight, and it's the Chucky Crazy in Love palette. Oh, look at the packaging of the box. I keep boxes, guys, for every palette pretty much. And this is the actual packaging. Chucky, this one was so fun. This one is really, really nice. This made me open up my eyes to Glamlight. Very deep, dark color story. But it's more of a berry maroon color story, which is pretty cool and different. I think this would go really good to mash up with like the Natasha Denona Love palette, just because she has a little bit brighter shades in there, and pinks and reds and purples and whatnot. And I think it would go really good with these grungy tones, these grungy dark tones. But I appreciate this. I mean, this shows up on my skin tone. Like, it's just you don't really have any lighter shades. But I really do appreciate this color story. I love this red. Oh, that is fire. Like, this is a deepened red with a little bit of a bronzy tone. That is so good. That is so, so good. And then I just love, like, this is a taupey, like, pink, just a different type of shade. Like, what? Like a brown pink. So good. This black with red shimmers. I don't know. You could just, and then they give you this taupey, like, purple here with the gray. You could just make some really cool color stories. So I guess this would be like the Natasha Denona Xeon, just with more variety, right? Because you still have some gray tones, you have your black, and you have some silver. Do we need a whole palette like that from Natasha Denona? I don't think so. But this one was curated so nicely. So, I mean, I put these... I definitely put these in order, but you guys, I love these palettes. Like, I love these palettes. These were so good. Like, so good. Man, that top color is fire. I have to use that. Okay, so for number 13, you know, this one I went so back and forth on, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get it. I didn't get it. And they came out with two. It's by Glamlight as well. And it's the Hershey's collection. They came out with the Hershey's chocolate, and then they came out with the cookies and cream. The packaging. I would have kept it in here. It's just kind of hard sometimes to get out. But it looks like a chocolate bar. It's so freaking cute. This is my favorite chocolate. Hershey's chocolate. And the thing that got me with this when I actually seen it in person is how small it is, and I love it. Like, this is the color story. It's so good. This one goes from really light to really deep. You have these browns, so you still get chocolate in here. You have grays, you have blues. This blue is a fantastic. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love these type of shades. Their shimmers are like out of this world. This is kind of like a taupey shade too, but more brown in it. So good. So good. These blues are fantastic shimmers. Like, look at that one. This one actually looks blue, but it's like a purple. So good. And then even this blue matte was just so different. Like, these just have different tones than I have in my collection. And I was just thoroughly impressed by this palette and the color story. And like, I wanted to use every color and I couldn't use every color on my eyeballs. Like, it just makes me inspired and want to go back and use it again. And like, for blues, like, it's giving you totally different types of blues that you wouldn't even think of or try to put these tones together. So I really love this palette. I appreciate it. I think the formula is great. This is going to be great travel little palette because you can get some color, but you can also keep it very neutral. You can go bright, you can go smoky. I just think it's so versatile, and I think it was a great color story and launch for Glamlight. And Glamlight has some good formula. And the other thing about Glamlight is their price point. Their price point. And then they be having sales and deals. I think I got that Hershey's palette for like $15 with somebody's code. Like, what? And it's great quality. Anyways, just had to throw that out there. Number 12. So this one was a controversial palette this year. I really enjoyed it. Like, I'm not even gonna front. I really liked it. And it's the Electric Trip palette by Melt Cosmetics. I love the color, the looks that I came up with this. This, I don't like the packaging too much. I think it could have just been the twirly things. I had to look really close to see that said Electric. And then I might be saying the name wrong. Like, I don't know, but I love, like, I even like this outside packaging more, but I don't like the middle. I don't like that. But I like the color story. Like, I like the color story. I mean, it could be because I wanted a really hot red in my collection, and I got it. I got it. This, gorgeous. I love the look I created with the red. I got an orange shimmer. Their shimmers are not the best, but I think that they stepped it up in this palette. I loved this taupey shade. If you don't know, like this, it's like an antique bronze. Like that's one of my favorite colors. I think I kind of have one on my eye. And then you went so warm. You gave me a cool tone brown, and then we went more cool tone, and I got blues. I got a gold. Like, I was not mad at this palette. The turquoise, I don't know. I just was not upset. I thought I made some really cool looks. I'll pull this out. I'll use it. I can come up with different color stories. Like, stick with the themes. Look at that red. Look at that red. Look at the orange. Like, what? I don't know. But that's why I said, if you like it, I love it. And same for me. If I like it, you should love it too. So yeah, I really enjoyed this palette. I thought it was cool that Melt gave us something a little different. Besides a grungy color story, which they did this year. They totally did give us a grungy color story. And they gave us more color this year. I mean, I did not, spoiler, I did not get any of the Christmas Town or the Nightmare Before Christmas collection. It just wasn't my vibe. I'm not a huge purple person, and I felt like there was a lot of purple, but I am a huge orange and red. Like, I am, and blues, and I really enjoyed this palette. So yes, and like I said, the look I did, it was fire. Like, I did a couple good looks I thought I did with this palette. So I was not mad at it. They gave us the old style back. It wasn't those circle pans. Like, I really like this palette. So it came in at number 12. All right, so number 11. Okay, so this was not from this year. This was from like last year. But I went back and forth, and finally I budged and I bought this palette, and I'm so happy that I did. It still has plastic on it. It's the Minka palette by Adept Cosmetics. I think I could take this off. Let's see. I just didn't want it to be dirty. Oh no, but the way the packaging is, I think it will be. I don't know. We'll keep it on. I'm scared. The Minka palette. Oh, this palette. This palette right here. Look at this. So I'm not crazy about the mattes. I bought it for the shimmers. And these are like neutral tone shimmers, which I can really appreciate. Like, I love a gold. I got a bronze. You know, you got some silvers. You got some like antique type bronzy colors. But some standout shades. But these are very chunky glitters, shimmers, and they're very, 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 very shimmery and sparkly, which is really pretty on the eye. But I love this color, Linda. And using their other palettes this year, it has the texture of Linda for their other shimmers, and it's a multi-chrome. This one is fantastically beautiful. Actually, let me swatch it for you. So good, Linda. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. I don't even know if the camera's doing it justice, but you see how flat and of a shimmer that is? And then Minka, what Minka did besides that, it gave you more chunky glitters. More chunky shadows than the smooth ones, which also, well, that one seems smooth, but they're smooth when you smooth them out, but like they have more shimmer and shine to them. Do you see the shimmer and shine? Like in my mirror, glittery. You can kind of tell this is more of a shifty shade, and then these are just more shimmery, sparkly. So if you like those type of shades that are like shimmery, like these are like holiday, everyday, you know, New Year's, Christmas, birthday, you know, going night on the town, you gonna put something from the Minka palette on. Yes, you are. And I like it because I love color, but I also enjoy a neutral shimmer. And you have pink shimmers. They're not all neutral. You have some pink, some silvery undertones. Luna is like a darker, has blue and what, like a gun, like blue, and oh, this one is like multi-dimensional shimmers in there, like so good, so good. Minka. I don't know. I bought the Adept and Heather Austin palette a while ago when it came out, and I love that palette. Before that, I did not do any Adept. I didn't really know who Adept was. It's a smaller, it's an indie brand, and I didn't know. Now I am so checking for Adept. I cannot wait for what they're gonna do next year. But this palette is gorgeous. If you're into these type of shades, and like you're gonna have different textures, they're gonna be a little bit, you're gonna have to learn how to work with them. With these, I like to just take and kind of press where I want it in the middle of the eye and like keep it moving. Fantastic. So the next palette, I would totally partner up with this palette. This is not a palette to use by itself, unless you just want to use purples, and I don't. This is a companion palette for me, and the next palette is also a companion palette for me, and I would totally put these two together 100%. Number 10, it has to be, just because it was an exciting release, exciting, fantastic thought process of the creator and the collaborator, right? Like the brand and who they collaborated with. It was just like, what? Are you serious right now? This is happening, and it happened. And it's the Fatally Yours palette by Melt Cosmetics and Bailey and Sarian. Yes. They said make it choices. I think they made great choices. They gave us an all matte palette. Bailey's vibe. It's Bailey in a palette with Melt. What? If nothing else, statement piece, okay? Her eyes. I keep all my stuff anyways, but that would never go anywhere. This is the palette. It's grungy. It's dark. It's matte. Okay. All mattes. Were you expecting this? I don't know what I was expecting, but I love it. I was now a lot of the shadows you put it on, they do not show up what they are in the pan on your eyes. That's not cool 100 if you're like, it was hard for me to kind of get my second look together, even the first look, because I'd never swatched the palette and it got deep. But I appreciate the depth because most palettes do not get deep enough for me. That's why I love this as a companion palette. I think it's going to be fantastic. It has a black. This is a perfect blending out shade for me. I have these grungy mustard yellows. I love this type of orangey shade. I have a maroon shade, fantastic. I have a brown, which goes deep, okay? And then you have these two that are totally different. This green is like a foresty green, and then this is like a blue. I didn't even get to use this shade, but it definitely got deep. It's pretty. That shade is gorgeous. I love this shade. I love it. I love it. The brown is really, really nice. I use this shade like a brown. So good. They're just deep. They're rich. They're buttery. Great mattes by Melt. That's what they do best. And this formula is different than the Electric. Just even feeling it. Electric feels a lot drier. So I can understand why people were saying like it's a different formula and they weren't feeling it as much. But I like the color story of Electric. And they worked fine for me. I was able to work with them. But these are way creamier, way more buttery, way pigmented. Like, all matte palette, deep palette. Yes, I'll take it. And I went back and forth on how high I wanted to rate this palette because I actually really do enjoy it. It's just, I'm not going to use it by itself all the time. I like mattes, but if I'm going to do something like this with mattes, I need a bright contrast. Like, I need a light, bright color. And this mustard is so good, but it's so deep. Like, it's so deep. They oxidize, like, but it's so pretty. So, I really enjoyed it. I just would not wear it by itself. It's a companion palette, so it's at number 10. Fatally yours. This is going down in history. Guarantee you. History. Yes. If you haven't noticed, these are good palettes. These are good palettes. So it's so hard to rank. It just got harder from here. So number 9. Number 9. I did not expect to get. I almost did not pick it up. But I love this brand and I had to see what it was like on my skin tone. I had to let you guys know if it's good, brown girl friendly or not, because I do kind of now collect these palettes and this one was good. I've used it a lot. I actually used it a lot. I went to Beyonce with it. It's the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. For one, I love this packaging because it's raised and you can't see all my fingerprints. I wish you would do more like this. So this is the color story. It's pinky neutral. It's cool tone. I love a cool tone moment. I can tell you that I did not expect to like this palette as much as I did. It's effortless. It's easy. You want an everyday palette and you like pinky, peachy, cool tone neutrals. This is your chick. For me, I wish I would have had a little bit more depth. This does go pretty deep, but I believe this is no, is that a cream to powder? No, she didn't give us a cream to powder in this palette. That one's really pretty though. It is deep. Filigree, so good. You know I like these dark browns. She had different textures in this palette. Delilah, fantastic. Oh, Muse was really, really good too. I also like this color in the corner, Tarbatine. The mattes are cool. I just, like I said, I wish I had a little bit more depth and variety. But these Vague goes pretty deep. You know, you get your peachy type tones. Like this palette, it's good. It's good. Is it my favorite Natasha Denona? No. Is it something that I could wear? Oh, like that would be so fire together. It's just really neutral. Like that color is so multi-dimensional. You can't really tell on the camera, and I have tons of sparkle on me right now. And then that was a different texture. She started playing with textures, which was really cool. This could be somebody's everyday go-to palette. I can't wait to mix it up with other palettes from Natasha Denona. Pop it out. I'm so ready to mix these things up and play with them. But I would totally play with this by itself. I used this palette like 4 times this year. And they were effortless. They tend to kind of lean looking the same depending on what you use. But that's just how Natasha Denona palettes are. Like, they're just cohesive. Like, everything just kind of goes together. So, fantastic palette. Great launch. Different, because I thought it looked like the Glam palette looking at it. No, they're different. They're different. You can mash these up together and get really, really pretty looks. I personally love the Glam palette more. That's one of my favorite palettes by Natasha Denona, but I think she did really, really good with I Need a Nude. So if it's something that you were thinking about, you're not going to go wrong with the formulas. So if they're colors that you love, the shimmers are fantastic. I say go for it. Okay, number eight. So this was a collab, and I was so happy. It's kind of like the Bailey vibe. Like, this person deserved a collab with this brand. I don't know for sure how much she loved them, but I could tell you, I watched this creator and I love her. I love her vibe. I think she's so real. I think she's really, really good. She's inspiring. She's the reason why I want to recreate my Natasha Denona palettes. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it is Lauren Mae Beauty, and she came out with a palette by Odin's Eye. And it is the Sea Talk palette. And this was a collaboration that they did with a couple different creators, but she created her own. For one, I am a fishy. Okay, she looked like a little mermaid in there. I'm thinking Lauren may be a water sign. I don't know. She might be a little Pisces like me, okay? The packaging is gorgeous. Odin's Eye is a great indie brand. But let's get into this color story, okay? Let's get into the Sea Talk palette. Does this not look like the ocean? What? You have your browns, your neutral tone color story right here. You got some kelp, electric kelp, okay, in the ocean. You got your greens and your blues for the ocean. A nice pink here, iridescent shell. This is great, and this could be an everyday palette for somebody. If you like neutrals, but you want to dabble in color, yes, this is it. Like, great tones. Electric Kelp might be one of my favorite colors this year. It's a shimmery yellow chartreuse that shows up. I love the look I did with this. This iridescent shell is so pretty. Look at it. You can see the duochrome magic in that. I cannot wait to play in this palette, like, some more. It's so good. And just pulling these out, like, it's coming back Way Back Wednesday. Look at that. Stop. And then if you want to keep it more neutral, you can do that. But they're not boring neutrals. Like, that's a cool tone and that's a warm tone. You get to go all different directions. Look at that coppery penny shade. So good. So good. I love the size of the palette. Look at that electric kelp. You can't tell me that is not fantastic. It's like a sheen. It's so pretty. This is like a toppery shade that is a duochrome with like no base. Look at that. So good. She likes neutrals. She likes really shimmery, sparkly shades. When this came out, I knew I had to order it. Like, I add to cart. Add to cart right away because I'm not missing out on this collab. I think she did a fantastic job putting this color story together. The quality is Odin's Eye, so it's really, really good. I love how big it is. This would be a great traveling palette. It's not too big. You got the perfect amount of shades. You can go deep and you could go really light. And I actually put these two colors together, I believe, in my look, one of them. So good. So good. So good. It was so hard to rank these palettes, you guys, but I love this palette. I'm so glad I have it in my collection. I will never give up this palette. And Lauren should be so happy and proud of herself. Great collab. Number 7 is from the same collab, but with a different collaborator. So this was by Odin's Eye. This one is just so different. I love Lauren's because it screams Lauren. But this one surprised me. I knew I had to get it because of the creator and the color story. And it is the Planet Spirit palette by Betty Jean. I love her. She's so good. Those are probably 2 of my top YouTubers that I do watch a lot of. Like, I'm interested to hear what they say, but I love the looks she creates on her channel. But this palette, I was not expecting to love as much as I do. I just used it recently in a video, actually. I think I used the color Pride. I think I used Pride on the outside V. It was either Pride, yeah. But look how, like, vibrant and colorful this is. Like, it's just bright. And at first, I was like, I don't know. I went back and forth. I almost did not buy this one. I knew I was buying Lauren May's, but I was like, I don't know. I love color, but that's a lot. And then I saw her reveal video, and I was like, I have to have it. Add it to cart. She killed it. And when you start mashing these colors up together, you're just like, oh, and you get so inspired, and they're so gorgeous. And Amalia is probably one of my favorite colors in this palette. This shimmer right here. Oh, look at that. I have nothing like this in my collection. Fauna, so good, this shimmer. And then these mattes are so pigmented and so buttery. Like, so good. So good. I don't know. Because I wasn't look. It's like a red to goldy pink. So freaking fire. Look at that. I have to swatch these for you because you have to see the beauty of these shadows. Like, what? And with these, you can mash this up with another palette like I do. I've used this palette multiple times, and I like to mash it up with other things because I love the mattes in here, but these shimmers are fire too. So like I would take these shimmers and mash these up with Fatally Yours. Like, I just can't speak enough about this. It's so unique. It's so pretty. It's so out of the box. It's so good. They blend so good to be this bright of shadows. Odin's Eye killed this with Baddie Bean. Like, I'm so impressed. I'd buy this 10 times over. I want to use it all the time. I want to use it all the time and put it on my eyes. It's so pretty. So I'm so happy for her that she got to do this collab. She's got to do multiple collabs. I really want to get her freaking Bats palettes from Shroud because she's so good, and I can just imagine. But this is the first collab palette I got, and I'm so in love with it. Planet Spirit palette, I think she killed it. And if you can get your hands on this and you like color, get it. Get it. I'm not telling y'all to buy stuff, but Odin's Eye be having sales, and that is fire. So number 6, this came for our next. It is fire. The best Natasha Denona release this year. The Yucca palette by Natasha Denona. By far. Look Look at the colors on the outside of the packaging. This looks like a safari. Yes. The inside looks like a safari. And it's beautiful. It is so good. She started giving us some shimmers that we're like, what? We only get that in Indy. No. She said, well, I'm coming for your next. She gave us pencils. She gave us brights. She gave us oranges, browns. This is a beautiful color story. And this is like a neutral palette for me. I could use this every day. Every day. And be very happy with my looks. I love Fuchsia. I love this color. So good. Cream to powder. So good. Plantasia. Stop. Stop. So good. The gold in here. The pink. So good. She gave us this Camu, this chartreuse shade. Stop. All the shimmers are in here are fire. Kamarabi. All these shimmers are fire. You got greens. I love greens. Willow. Exia. The mattes are fantastic. You have 3 mattes that kind of look similar, but once you put them on, they do have a variation to them, but she tends to do that. We've seen the I Need a Nude and Xenon. Look at that. Starting to get stained, but I want to show you that's one of my favorite colors in this palette. So good. Camo. What? And then we'll put this one down here under that pink. But look how reflective. Super duper sparkly. You get light to dark. You get your mid-tones. You could just throw this in your crease and throw a shimmer on top with any of these colors. You could just throw, I could just throw a matte in my crease all over my lid with a liner and mascara and keep it moving. This palette is fantastic. I love the color story. It doesn't go too warm. It's more of a neutral warm, which is so pretty. There's nothing like this in my collection. It's grunge without being too dark. Like, it's just it. It's it's fantastic and I love it. You're like, well, why isn't it number 1, you guys? I just had some really good palettes this year and this one was so good. But this is more of a neutral. This is my neutral, baby. This is what I'm going to pull out. I'm just like, I don't want to think, but I want some green, gold, yellow, orange. Yucca is good. Wait till I make my own palettes. This one, those other 2... Natasha was dropping them this year. I can't. Natasha dropped mad palettes this year. That's crazy. Top 5, top 5, top 5. Top 5? You're going to be like, what? This isn't number 1? This isn't number 1? Oh my gosh, y'all. These palettes are so good. It's so hard to put these in order. This one is so good. And hold on, let me get it out of the packaging. It is a little tight in the packaging. I don't understand that. A little tight for how much money it costs. Top 5, top 5, top 5. Danessa Myricks Lightworks Volume 5 palette. I am palette. This palette, I did eye swatches on this palette. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I just want to play with it all the time, but I have so many palettes. I am unstoppable. You guys already know my favorite colors in this palette. I talked about it during my review. The duochromes, the multichromes, the 8 different textures, the shimmers, the different colors, the blues, the greens, the oranges, the pinks. Fantastic. Fantastic. So many different variations, so many different ways you can go. Look at that color. It's a companion palette. That's why it's not number 1, or it would be. I love this palette. I'm speechless. This is gorgeous. And she keeps dropping deals and I'm like, Danessa? You guys, I bought so much Danessa Myrick stuff. She had 12 Days of Beauty and she was throwing out products every day for $12. And I was like, oh, add to cart? Did I need that? This one's so pretty to me. It's so neutral, but it's so pretty. And the textures in these palettes, you guys, I don't even think I swiped that good. Hold on. The textures are so good because there's different texture. I think there's 8 different textures. Like, I don't even know. So good. Multi-chromes, dual-chromes. Fierce. Fearless. So good. And the textures. It's the textures for me. It's the shifts. It's the thought put into this palette. I have number 3. I wish I had number 4. I'm so happy I have number 5. It's just so good. It's just so fun. You can just, I did a simple green look. I think I took enough. This green at the bottom for the thumbnail, the green at the bottom. And then I just put like a purple underneath. I think it's Hilled. This Hilled color. Look at that. And it was so simple. It was so pretty, that look. Just a simple look, green and purple. Like, look at that one swipe. One little swoosh around. So good, you guys. Stop. I don't know why people sleeping on Danessa. That is my girl. Like, I don't know. I'm obsessed with her. And I'm obsessed with her launches. I cannot wait for next year. And honestly, I can't wait for the Lightworks Volume 6. I hope she drops one. And I hope she comes for our next on it. Because this could easily have been the palette of the year. Palette of the year, but it's my top 5. And I love it. And I can't wait to mash it up with my Fatally Yours palette. And other color from mattes, like from the Betty Bean palette, Spirit palette. So good. So good. So that is number 5. How we doing, y'all? We're almost there. I wonder if we have, like, if you guys are feeling my ranking, you gotta let me know in the comments for sure. If you're still here, go ahead and subscribe. If you're not subscribed already. If you're still here, throw up fireworks in the comments so I know you made it to the top of 5. All right, let's count down these last couple of palettes. The next 2 are from this year, and actually my top 2 are not from this year. Is that... So you can consider these top 2, 1 and 2, really for the year if you wanted to. Considering my real number 1 and 2 are from not this year, if that makes sense. But number 4. It took me forever to use this palette. I had to use it. I had to get it in this ranking. I already knew I was going to love it, and I do love it. It was the last video I posted, the Inspire palette by Adept Cosmetics Arrow. I couldn't decide, but this is gorgeous. It's green. If you are a green lover, you are going to love this palette. This is limited edition. It's so fun. The row of mattes, the shimmers, tin shimmers, multi-duochrome, freaking goodness. They're so smooth and soft to the touch. They're just fantastic. I went in more depth on these shadows in my review, but I love this palette. I think Adept did a fantastic job. Like I said, I'm so impressed by them. Yes, this palette is pricey, but like it's worth it. I feel like it's worth it. This is my favorite color in the palette, I think. Isabel Roche. So freaking good. Leo Miller. I use this in my look. Both of these I used in a look. Look at the shift. Like, stop. So good. I use this color in a look. This was my other favorite color. So good. It might not look like much on the finger, but when you blend this one out, I can't wait to wear that one by itself. Like, for real, I have a hair right here on my hand. And then the mattes were so good on this palette. Look how pigmented that blue is. I was so impressed by this blue. I was just like, what is that? What is that? What is that, though? Like, what? I can't. Like, I freaking can't. Look at the shifts in these colors, and they're so smooth. I mean, literally a swipe. It's like that Linda shade in the Mika palette. And then you have your mattes. And I love the mattes because they were all variations of blue. All variations of green. I think it represented the show fantastically. I love that we got an Arrow-inspired palette. Such a good show. These are fantastic shades. The whole palette is beautiful. This is a work of art. This is a work of art, and a lot of thought was put into this. And I'm so happy to have this in my collection, you guys. Like, you have no idea. And it's here for a limited edition. I said in my video, if this is something you want, go get it. It's so good. I'm highly impressed by all of these shades, and I can't wait to play with it more. I did 3 looks. If you're interested, check it out. But this is number 4. So you can probably guess what is number 3. You can probably guess. And it was so hard to make a decision. It was just so hard. It was just so hard to make a decision, guys. Like, it was just difficult. But Sumerian Sunset, number 3 by Adept Cosmetics. What? Look at the packaging. It looks like a sunset. And the inside is just fantastic. Same layout. I honestly, besides this color, I do love the mattes in Arrow. I thought that they all performed so good. Where these 2 mattes were not my favorite because they were just lighter and not very good. I mean, this one was okay. And then you gave me like 2 greens. I don't know. They were okay. I think if we would have did the same vibe, gave me like sunsetty mattes like this one, like you gave me all green mattes in the Arrow palette, I think I would have been even more happier. But I still put this one number 1. I still were ahead of that one number 3. Like, I still did. Why? Because I can get a green palette everywhere. Oranges and bright oranges and fiery reddy, fantastic shades. She even gave us like this multi-dimensional thing right here. You guys, I don't even know what color's my favorite. I love this one in the corner. I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. Can I swatch some more? I love this one. Like, I love this whole palette. I can't. And I didn't even swatch the one that gave me tons of different shimmers to it. Like, I didn't even swatch. You guys, I'm so happy about this palette. Like, look. And in my mirror, it's so different. I think my lights are a little bright right now because, hold on, let's see if we get a different vibe. Like, look. Yeah, maybe I should turn down my lights so you can really see these colors. Okay, we'll just leave it there. It's already done the whole video like that, but the shifts. Check out my video if you want more on this palette. I did 3 looks with this palette. All of them I absolutely love. They were fantastic. Great shimmers, very smooth, so much fun, so pretty on the eyes. Like, I would probably pull in other mattes too, but I really love this orangey matte in the corner. The greens were nice, like I said, as well. This shade, this multi-dimensional goodness. There's like gold and orange in here with the blue. Like, what? That is the number 3 palette. And like I said, you could technically make that 1 and 2 for the year because those came out in 2023 and they are fantastic. And honestly, if I didn't try these next 2 palettes, this would have been my number 1 palette for the year. Hands down. Adept, you did fantastic on both of these palettes. And I'm so, like she watches my videos. I knew I should have kept these plastic pieces on my palettes. Like she watches my videos. But if you do, by chance, please give us more of this. She did drop that area, what, 115? I wanted it. I just talked myself out of it because the purples. A lot of purples. But the mattes look fantastic. I don't know. I might have to get it later on a really good discount. But like, I hope she gives us more. Like, what if she gives us like all blue one? She did like, there's a lot of blues in that 115. I don't know, a different color, pink, or I don't know, a neutral type of vibe with that. Like, that would be fun. Okay, number 2. Number 2. This palette came out a long time ago, but this is my first palette I've used by this brand, and I used it this year, and I am a believer. I'm a believer, and I'm obsessed. And if I could get all the palettes, I would, but I can't. So I got 3 right now. I got 3. But the first one is by Pat McGrath Labs, and it's the Mothership 1 palette. Looks very dirty. I'm sorry. And this is Subliminal. I use this in a Pat McGrath takeover. And for one, the packaging is so... Oh, there's a sticker on here. It's so luxe. It's so good. The gold, the black. It is speaking my language. And then you get into the color story. And it's grungy, cool tones. Okay? With 4 beautiful special shades. You have a pop of blue. You have a gold. You have an iridescent blue. You have some great like satin mattes in here as well. You have a little bit of purple. This is a multi-duochrome here in the corner. Goes from purple to like pink. Fantastic. But then the freaking formula is A1. When I say buttery soft, like I was all blown away. Like I was like, what? This is what we're doing with the matte? Like this is what we're doing with the mattes. I couldn't. And then I got into this shade and the blue. Look at this gold. Oh, you guys, Pat McGrath. I thought it was a hype. It's no hype. This palette is so good. And I'm a cool tone type of girl. So like at first, this was the one speaking to me the most. You can see that deep shade. I mean that light shade. And I had to get it. I used it and I love the look I came up with. I felt so pretty in that look. You can get a smoky moment. You can do a bright moment. You can do a lot of contrast with this palette. It was the most intriguing to me. And I'm still intrigued. Like, I cannot wait. I should be playing with this every day, as much money as I spend on it. Like, well, I did get it at a discount. I got it for like 80, I think. But it's so good, you guys. I need to be using it more. These satins are even so good. That's so pretty. So good. Like, I was sleeping on them. Not anymore. Not anymore. This palette is so nice. I had to put it as number 2 because the formula is fire. It's so fire. And really, if you like cool tones, you could use this every day. This could be an everyday palette. Put something in the crease, deepen it up a little bit, and put one of these shadows on a lid, like inner corner. Easy. Easy. It's just not really a travel palette or anything. I wouldn't take this anywhere, but It's so hefty. It's so glamorous. It's just so sexy. It's so sexy. And the formula is just fantastic. A1. So this is my number 2 palette for the year that I've tried. That is in my collection. I love this palette. If you don't have a Pat McGrath palette, I would definitely say it's okay to invest in one. Especially when she's doing deals. She's like doing 30% off right now. Y'all, I went and bought those mascaras though. She has those Dark Star mascaras, the colorful ones, for like $9. They're on sale like $30, and then she gave you extra. They're like $9. So I got 3 for the price of 1. I'm so excited. So yes, if you can get, and look at the packaging. If you can get your hand on one of these. I've got one from TJ Maxx or Marshall's, $50. Number 4, so pretty too. So A1 palette, A1 formula. The hype is real. The experience is, I mean, it's so fun to put these on your eyes. Like, they're just so good. So I had to put it in the number 2 spot. So you're like saying, okay, Tia, you put Pat McGrath in the number 2 spot. You put Adept in number 3, and they had the Killers palettes of the year. Odin's Eye. You know, I have some brands. I'm going to bring you guys a video next year talking about brands I check for. You can kind of tell off my collection what I check for. But there are some new indie brands out there that have been catching my eye. So my number 1 palette, let me tell you, for the year that I've tried. So I was going to do a whole video for you guys. 7 looks with this palette. And then come to find out, it got discontinued. So sad. It is on my eyes. So pretty. Look at this shimmer. It's so good. So good. This is what's on my eyes. This is my number 1 palette because it would be, if I was not a junkie, it'd be the only palette in my collection. Because it's so versatile. And it's so everyday. Like, it's so everyday. And it is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. Yes. Yes. I hate to bring it up because it is discontinued, but this is my number 1 palette I used this year. Look at it. You have these brown tones, warm tones. You can get cool because you have some blues. You can get colorful because you have blues, you have greens, you have a red, you have golds, you have, this whole look is green, but it looks neutral. Like, this is so good. I was going to bring you 7 looks, 1 with each row. I did start filming it. If it's something you guys still want, put Metropolis in the comments and I will make it happen. I just didn't want to bring a palette doing 7 looks that's been discontinued. That didn't seem fair. I know she took it away and brought it back multiple times, but I don't know. She has tons of cream to powders in here, and that is my favorite formula from her. Really pretty shimmers. I love this shimmer I used today in my on the lid. It's so good. It's so pretty. It's like gold, that gold to pinky type of green. This palette is fire. You have your coppery shades. You can go really terracotta-y over here, or you can keep it more neutral brown. You have cool tone browns, right? You have these deep blues, that bright blue. That bright blue. So good. 28 pans. This is also nice because these pans fit into the Mindy palettes. The one with that we just did with I Need a Nude and Yucca. And, oh, I have color on here. And Xenon. Like, they fit into this palette, and this is her more expensive palette. I yearned and lusted after it forever, and then my cousin bought it for me for Christmas last year, and I wanted to be special when I used it, and brought you guys looks, and then it gets discontinued. color story is just so neutral and like everyday. You can just throw a couple of these shadows on and go. That's what I love about it. It's so versatile. It's just, she needs to bring it back. Metropolis. Like, if I went to the office, I would put this on every day and I would feel good, and it was simple and it's easy and it's fast. It's effortless. It's gorgeous. So you have my cool tone palette and you have my warmer tone palette, but you still get some nice cool tones. I mean, look at this foresty green. This is a cream to powder. So good. I have this one on my lid. It's a green. I have this one underneath my eye, this olivey tone. So good. Like this deep brown here in the corner. I just love that it has so many cream to powders in it. And there's like, look at that. That's a look. That's a vibe right there. That's a green tone vibe. Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. I don't know. This is my favorite Natasha Denona palette, and this is probably and it's my favorite palette of this year. Number 1, 2023 for the palettes that I used. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Seeing my top palettes ranked, or the palettes that I used this year ranked from 17 to number 1. I hope you'd enjoyed it. If you're still here, leave a green heart in the comments for Metropolis. What was your favorite palette of the year? Was there something that I did not try that I need to try? I need you to let me know in the comments below, because if I need to pick it up and it's worth it, then I'm going to listen to you guys and I'm going to try it out. If it's a color story that's definitely calling to me and maybe I was on the fence or something, let me know. I hope this gave you some inspiration and some insight into kind of my vibe and what I'm into. And if you guys are on the same kind of vibe that I am, do you agree with the choices that I made? Was there something else that you would have put in the number 1 spot, or top 5? Let me know down below. Like, I really am interested to see what you guys think, because it took me so much time to come up with this ranking and how I wanted to do it and what made sense. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Happy New Year, and let's welcome in a 2024. It's going to be lit. Okay, don't forget to subscribe if you're not part of the fam. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can be updated every time I load a new video. Go ahead and give me a huge thumbs up if you're feeling the vibe on this channel. Remember, there is only one way to do your makeup, and that's your way. We'll see you in the next one. Have a blessed day. Peace.